Do you have an Excel document that has a drop-down list created in it, and you are wondering how this drop-down list is created in the Excel? Do you intend to make an entry into a particular cell, and Excel is just telling you, restricting you on restricting you on what you need to put into that cell, and you're wondering how is this possible? Or in another case, you're trying to make another entry in a cell, and Excel just shouted at you that what you are entering, the entry, it is not acceptable. And you're wondering, how is this possible? How do I automate my Excel document so that for it to give an error alert? Worry no more. As today's tutorial, we expose you, we enlighten you on how you can do this in your Excel document. My name is Olani Ishukunwa, and I am your tutorial master on this channel, and I am glad that you are here. In today's tutorial, I am happy to introduce a powerful feature in Microsoft Excel to you, which is data validation. Data validation is a feature in Microsoft Excel that allows you to control what a user can enter into a particular cell in your document. Data validation is such that it allows you to set specific rules or restrictions which will prompt a user to enter a valid data according to the set rules. And based on the earlier scenarios that I created, data validation is a solution, and it answers all our concerns. For this tutorial, I would like us to know that with data validation, we can use it to create drop-down list. You can use it to restrict data entry into a particular cell, and we can, by so doing, that will enable us to avoid any invalid data from being in our Excel document. And there are different ways in which you can use data validation. You can set any desired rules or restrictions on it that will make sure that the data that you have in your Excel document is validated. I want to watch this video to the end so that for you to be able to see the demonstration of various ways by which you can use data validation. And in this particular example, the first one that we are going to do here is the fact that we want to use data validation to create a drop-down list. And when you open your Excel document from the main tab, where we go to data. Under data, from the data tools, then we select the data validation dialog box. Since we want to create a drop-down list in cell B2, so we go to our data validation dialog box and we select data validation. The drop-down list, from here we select list. And so in this case, if we have a few selectable options that we want our users to know, then here we can just type in the few options into it. And we click OK. Here we go. Our drop-down list is created, and we can select any of the options that we've created. So this is how to create a drop-down list. And at the same time, if you do not want this drop-down list in this particular document, we can cancel it and we can clear it by going to our data validation dialog box. We'll click on it and we'll select clear all. Once we clear all, our data validation the drop-down list has been cleared. However, if you have a long list of options that we want our user to select from, let us see how we can do it also. We want to create a drop-down list on cell B5 with a long list of options, selectable options. So we go to our data validation dialog box. We select this. Under allow, we select list. So in source, so rather than for us to type in all the list, select all the options that we want, we would rather put our cursor in the source and we go to our document and we select the range. We select all the options that we want. So by so doing, our options are selected into the box, and we click OK. From here, we can see that the options that our drop-down list is created. So this is how we can use data validation to create a drop-down list in our document. And I believe you too, you can do the same. So kindly do so and confirm whether it is possible for you to do. Before we continue, if you are new here, kindly subscribe to this channel so that you can see more of our video tutorials on Microsoft Excel. And don't forget to like this video, share it to your family and friends and to your colleagues so that they too can learn from it. And I believe they'll be glad that you did. So another way that we can use data validation is to restrict our user from entering invalid data into our document. Here we have a table of fruits, and in this case, we want the amount of each of the fruit to only be between 100 and 150. That is, we don't want our user to enter an amount that is less than 100 or that is greater or that is more than 150. And how do we do it? That is where our data validation dialog box come in handy. So we select the cell. From the main tab, we go to data. From the data tools, we select our data validation dialog box. So under allow, we select all number. Since we want to restrict the entry to only 100 and 150, so the minimum is 100, while the maximum will be 150. I will select OK. Before we do that, as we select 150, 100 and 150, apart from only selecting 100 and 150, we want the user to, if you even want to go a step further, to give an information to the user on the particular and on the limit that we want them to select. So under the error alert, we'll put only an amount of 100 and 150 is acceptable. So now let's try. So if a user put in 120, then Excel will accept it because that falls within the range that we set. But if a user put 90, Excel we say that no, that is not allowed, and if you give this message that only an amount of 100 and 150 is acceptable. So that makes it difficult for any user to put in an invalid data. And if a user try to put in, let's say 201, Excel we also reject that with a message that only 100 and 150 is acceptable to have is acceptable in that particular cell. So here, so we can extend this to the remaining. We can extend this to the remaining cells in the column. For example, if a user try to put 260, Excel will not approve of it. And it will remind us of the message that only 100 and 150 is acceptable. So this is how we can restrict and ensure that the valid data is entered into our Excel document. And the last thing that we'd like to see in this tutorial is that, okay, what if I have a table of cities and I don't want any user to enter any data into column C? How do I protect this particular table so that no user can put anything into it? The other way I can do it is go to data validation, and that validation from dialog box. So one way is this, that I can create a list and put in not applicable NA. So with this not applicable, that shows that there are two ways that I make the non-applicable to show, so that once a user sees it, he or she knows that we cannot enter any value into that particular cell. But in case whereby I don't want the non-applicable to show, and I just want it to remain as empty, if I delete the non-applicable and I leave my cells empty, if a user try to enter any data into the cell, Excel will tell him or her that this does not match, that he or she cannot enter anything into that particular cell. This can also be extended down the column. By so doing, I have protected this particular table and disallow any unauthorized entry into this particular table. So this is how data validation can help us to ensure that the correct data is entered into our document. And also, don't forget that you can as well customize your data validation to suit your own purpose, because from the dialog box, we could see that you can use it to set specific rules to enter only decimal, or for only date or time, text length, or custom. So data validation can be used. You can customize it to suit your own purpose. So go ahead, try this particular feature in your document and see whether it works for you. If don't forget, if you are yet to like this video, subscribe now. Click on the subscribe button so that you can see more tutorial videos on Microsoft Excel. And if there's any function or any way or any power or any way that you are struggling with in Microsoft Excel, drop me a message in the comment section and we shall look at it together. Thank you and see you in the next class.